Mm. Okay, hey y'all. So it says I'm live. I hope that it's recording. I really hope that it's recording. It says that it's recording. Okay, so what's up, everybody? I hope you can see me. I'm coming on because I wanted to talk about um, Married at First Sight. I know I have a different look. First, let's talk about my look. I cut my hair about what? It's been like, this is November. So it's been about 3 months now. I cut my hair about 3 months ago. Um, I think I had it cut before the 4th of July. So it's been a while. I had my hair cut. But I just went in one day and was like, I don't want hair on my head no more. So I'm gonna take it off. And that's what I decided to do. Other thing why I'm going live because I just decided to do a live recording instead of trying to record, edit, and upload because I didn't realize that the show is on Peacock now instead of on Lifetime, and then they're doing multiple episodes in one night. So they're condensing the season, which is fine by me. I mean, um, I have to say I've been enjoying how it's been going thus far, but just to talk a little bit about the season. Thus far, we have what? 5 couples. We have Jalen and Josh, Belinda and Chad, Megan and Derek, uh, and Brittany and Will. I think I got all of them. I have to say, my most favorite person right now, my most favorite couple right now, I would have to say is Jalen and Josh. They seem pretty balanced. Um, they seem like they know how to communicate. They they haven't had very much conflict yet. That could be a good or a bad thing. Right now, it's just matter of fact. Um, they've been pretty even keel. But my least favorite couple would be Megan and Derek. They are, what would you say, kind of volatile. Yeah, they're a little combative with each other, and the communication is lacking. They can really improve on their communication. My least favorite person of all is Brittany. Brittany is a prude. Brittany requires too much attention. Um, she's like very needy, if you would say. She's very needy. Um, I would say her love language is words of affirmation because she has to be reassured a lot. Um, and for me, it just seems like she lacks confidence or like her self esteem might be a little low as a result of past relationship traumas that she may have thought, like she said, may have thought that she was over or she had gotten past, but I guess she has not. Um, let's just talk a little bit about the season. so far. So the weddings, I don't know if it's because it's on Peacock now, but I've watched all the episodes, and the weddings were, I would say, direct and to the point. Um, I like how we sat down and we briefly got to talk to the couples before their nuptials. And yeah, I think that was getting us right in there instead of like drawing it out. It really helped like move the show along. Um, so I will start with because I don't want to be on here long. Let's start with let's see, Jalen and Josh. Okay, so everything seemed pretty good. Jalen is pretty much a girly girl. Um, but they may have some issues with her doing like outdoor stuff. I know he wanted her to do something called Burning Man, and it's in Arizona, and it's got to do with outdoors, heat, nature. Girl, I can understand. That's not my judge either. But I mean, she felt like if it means something that she would have to do every year forever and ever and ever, and that she decided that she might not want to, that it may be, she didn't want it to be a deal breaker for her relationship. And I feel like that's putting a lot of pressure on you because right now you're in, I don't even want to call this a honeymoon phase. This is an experimental phase of your relationship. Being that the way you went about it, this is the experimental phase. So I wouldn't put that much pressure on it. Um, you got they went to the reception and they seemed to have a really good time with each other. Um, then she also shared, Jalen also shared that her father was a former MLB player. But one thing about her parents, while she said that they were like high school sweethearts, but they never showed affection to each other. They were never affectionate. So maybe by the time she came along or she was old enough to understand, they were not affectionate with each other. Maybe at one time they were, but by the time they were of age, they weren't. And Jalen is also a fraternal twin. Sidebar: her twin brother. Let's just say I'm glad that they don't really resemble each other. They are separate of themselves. Um, but then we also see Jalen's mom is also a bride on this season. Her name is Belinda. Belinda is married to Chad. Now their wedding, um, it was cute. Um, Belinda said this is her first wedding. She never had a wedding, so this was special for her. Chad, on the other hand, this is his fourth, one, two, three, fourth wedding. For me, that's a bit of a red flag. I mean, not to say that he was the issue, but who's to say that he wasn't in his previous relationships? I mean, why is it taking you 3 times to get it right? But we're here now, and what I say about their relationship is Chad is making every effort to be accommodating, be nurturing, be loving and affectionate, and all those good things. He even bought his missus a new wedding band set, got her a nice rock. Um, and oh, by the way, Josh bought Jalen a new ring too. He bought her a nice emerald cut diamond, very nice. Um, but Chad is making every effort. There was one scene that I didn't like, and it was from Belinda and Chad. Chad was trying to express himself about how he felt, I guess, about Belinda. He couldn't find the words, so he was getting a little choked up, and he was just kind of dead silent. But everybody's not good with verbalizing how they feel. I mean, some people just aren't good with words. So then you have production in the background coaxing him and nudging him along. He's like, I was getting there. So he goes back to trying to gather his thought. Then another producer says something. And he's like, we're trying to have conversation naturally. So can you just allow us to have conversation naturally? And so then you hear a producer say that they're sorry or whatever. So then he's sitting there quiet, and all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I'm ready to go. So he gets up and he walks off. So then Belinda gets up and she walks off with him. But then the part that gets me, it wasn't that. I don't feel like in that moment, Chad, um, his response was inappropriate. He didn't blow up on anybody. He wasn't aggressive or, he just expressed how he felt at that moment. He was saying, look, we trying to talk. Let us talk. Let me get my thought out without you trying to help me, please. Um, and Belinda came back, and in my eyes, she kind of like, how would you say? She she chastised him and was like, well, I just want you to always be considerate of other people, not just me. And so she was basically saying that he wasn't nice. And I absolutely totally disagree. But that was something that I noticed. She is right now coming off a bit docile, soft spoken, and I'm not sure that that's who she really is. I don't know what she was like in her previous relationship. I think it's been 7 or 8 years since she's been in a relationship. It's been a long time. Um, so yeah, she kind of like came at Chad about how he talked to the production, but I don't think he talked to them wrong in any way. Um, now you have and this is on the honeymoon. They're on the honeymoon. Um, but they seem to be engaging with each other pretty normally. Then you have what's the names? Megan and Derek. Megan and Derek, I'm gonna tell you, their nuptials were fine, but what was indicative about me that I felt like was telling was Miss Kathy, and that's Megan's mom. She was a real bitch. She was very rude, and she was very short with Derek. And it was like he didn't give her anything like to pounce on him about. And I think she was disappointed in that. Like she was looking for a reason to like not like the guy. But she did say how much she liked his parents. But I saw her personality and it made me think, okay, this is indicative of maybe how Megan might be a hothead, and she is. Um, Derek is a passive aggressive. He doesn't fully express how he truly feels about something. He'll say that he's okay with it when he's really not, and then he'll come back in like a condescending way to try and address it with Megan, and then Megan blows up. Megan is a hothead. Um, and when she gets hot, she doesn't really come across like making her points. So it almost makes it seem like what Derek is saying is valid when not all the time it is. Now, one thing I could say that might have been valid was the dog walking situation. First of all, you don't impose on anybody that they're going to take care of your animal or watch your animal, whatever the situation is, especially in this capacity. Um, but also on the other hand, on the other token, I mean, Derek, you're talking about how you haven't had a pet in a long time and you want to yet have 3 children. You want this big family. So I'm like, the best way to get acclimated right now is probably to, embrace the dog. I mean, I know it's not a human, but a lot of people view their animals as their babies. So you might want to start loving on the fuzzy to build yourself up to this family that you want to have. Speaking of families, Derek wants to bring up about having a family. And Megan said, yes, she does want to have children. And, that's why she's taking the proper measures to go ahead and have her eggs frozen. So this is something that she's giving consideration to, and she knows that she wants to have a family. But she says that her fear is like childbirth, which is natural, I guess, but she is 38. So you are 3 years past high risk and you want to give yourself a thriving chance to actually conceive. So, I don't know what her plans are or when she did freeze the eggs, like how long she was giving herself. But now that she is in this capacity as a wife, this is something that she may want to give true consideration to and be like, well, this is my chance and I want to make every effort. Let's see if we can really make this work so that I can have the family that I've wanted. But yeah, that conversation right there when Derek said that he had been talking about it with his friend, I understood where Megan was saying, some things should be just for us. I don't want to talk about everything with everybody else. But Derek seems to be like, I'll talk to the other um the other brides and grooms, or I'll talk to my friends and get their insight. instead of like, just talking to your partner and trying to find some common ground with them before you go conversing with everybody else about your issues. So I understand where she's coming from on that. Then we have Pat and Rhonda. Pat is like one of those space geeks. He's like everything space or sci-fi or something like that. And Rhonda's like, no. I have to say, loved her red dress that she wore for her nuptials. I thought it was just cockadoodle, cockeyed crazy that she wanted to jump in the pool fully clothed. Not in my good clothes, but to each his own. Um, she has 4 children, and she also made it known that she has been by herself for the past 25 years. This is something that is a reoccurring theme she's saying, and I feel like now I've heard it so much that I'm like, she wears it like a badge of honor. It's something that she talks about, like, not in a sense been by myself for 25 years. I don't want to spend the next 25 years alone. She talks about it like, I've been by myself for 25 years and I've done fine by myself. So if that's what it is, Rhonda, then why did you sign up for this experiment? Because you have to be open to open yourself up totally. And I see her going in the same direction that her ex-husband did when she said he didn't make her feel like his home was her home. She cut Pat off at the pass when he made the comment about moving his stuff into her house. She was like, oh, that's a discussion that we'll have to have, that I'm not ready to have right now, but that's something that we'll have to talk about as far as how we're going to live and cohabitate, because you got to understand, Pat currently lives with his 83-year-old mother. I don't know if Pat lives with her or she lives with Pat, but they live together. And yes, there is a difference. But Pat has a problem with talking about himself and not listening. So he just went on and on and on about talking about himself. And he wasn't even listening to Rhonda or what she was saying. And so then Rhonda was bringing it to his attention. And she was like, I would like it if you would ask me things about myself, or when I mention something, you ask follow-up questions, and I just want you to show some interest in me. And that was totally valid. And later on, he did make an earnest effort to try and be more attentive. However, I noticed that Rhonda didn't have a problem of really pointing out Pat's shortcomings. But when Pat, decided that he wanted to express himself and share with Rhonda how she might have been a little bit direct, kind of curt with her approach and her delivery, she couldn't handle it. She was like, well, I need a moment. I feel attacked. And that's a trigger for me. I don't like to hear say they feel attacked. It just bothers me. So when she said that, I was like, cut it out, shut it down. But Pat said that, he's going to continue to make an effort to try and make her feel heard and wants her to feel safe. And Rhonda said that she respected and she believed what Pat was saying. So, with those two, I'm not quite sure, but I think that might implode right before our eyes, and that's only because Pat's probably not going to be able to handle Rhonda's boisterousness. She's very extroverted and she's very in your face. She's a lot. So I really don't see that one lasting, but I appreciate the fact that this season they're bringing on older candidates, and they bringing on people who have lived and had experience, but they want to do it again. So I see nothing wrong with that. I really think that it's a healthy observation of all people, not just people capped at a certain age, under the age of 40. Um, then we have, who else? Brittany and Will. Brittany and Will. Okay. Will is presenting himself as very laid back, not really very laid back. He's not overly stimulated. He's not overly excited about anything, really. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. He's just a very relaxed person. Then we have Miss Brittany. Like I said, Brittany has a lot of hangups and she has a lot of insecurities, and he's going to have a time with trying to make her feel comfortable and constantly reassuring her and making her feel wanted and loved. And it's just probably going to become exhausting. They had a blip during the honeymoon where Brittany said that they were intimate, and then she thought about it. I guess that they weren't using protection or whatever. She kind of, and so he was like, well, we could stop. They stopped. And I guess she wanted him to be like, oh, it's okay. Wanted him to reassure her so they could, resume being intimate. And he was like, no, maybe we should hold off from this for a while. And that made her feel rejected. She could have handled that a totally different way. First of all, if it's good, if it's good, bust your nut and then talk about it later. Don't you jammed the frequencies, you messed up the moment, and then you expected him to want to get it back for you. No, just bust your nut and then talk about it later, and then decide if you want to keep doing it. And if you do it, if you want to use protection. Simple. But like, we already should have come to the conclusion that I don't think Brittany has really experienced a lot in the sex category. So, I mean, we can't really expect much there. And then she is constantly just getting in her head when Will doesn't react or respond a certain way. She's just like, oh, he's not responding the way I want him to respond, like about her house. She said this was the first man that she's brought to her home. Okay, maybe if you had brought another man to your home, then you wouldn't feel so bummed out when this man doesn't respond the way you want him to respond. And it shouldn't even matter. It's your house. This is your accomplishment. This is all you. So it shouldn't even matter if he gives you some type of stamp of approval. But for whatever reason, Brittany's having difficulty kind of wrapping her mind around the fact that things aren't going to always go a certain way. I know she must play them out in her head to be a certain way. And then when it doesn't go that way, she's really disappointed. But she needs to not have such expectations for everything. Life is life, and people are people. So you have to learn how to deal with people with how they are and where they're at. Um, I think Will is right now making every honest effort to be present and in the moment and be available for Brittany emotionally. So I have to commend him with his patience. I think he's doing a great job thus far, but that's just now. We'll see what happens in these next 3 episodes. Um, but yeah, that's my take so far on what's been going on. Hey to whoever's in the chat. Um, but yeah, that's my take on what's going on so far on Married at First Sight. Like I said, I didn't realize that they had changed the network, but now it's on Peacock and they're showing multiple episodes and condensing them all in one airing time. So I think what I'm going to do for the next one is I may just review each episode, or I may mash up the next 3. We'll see. But I just want to give my take on what's been going on up to the present, the current episode, which is episode 7. I've been on here for a nice little half hour. I would have came on earlier, but I was on the phone with my cousin and I didn't know how long that conversation was going to be. So I didn't want to set my stream time for sooner and then wasn't ready. But to give you something to watch, and I'm glad that I got it done. So yeah. In the meantime, in between time, it's been fun, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.